Hello and welcome to how I play my level 50 Shaman. Now, this may or may not be useful to you. I play on live. It's we got spells that are not available on TLPs, so I will try to call those out when I can. But for the most part, we're gonna go over spells. We'll talk about how I have some things set up over here on the X target, and how I have my hotbar set up, especially my multi-bind. Now, I use this Shaman for healing my multi-box characters. I have a Shadow Knight as my tank. So when I do things, it's the focus of some of the things is specifically just to heal. I don't care about doing other things like slowing and all that stuff. I have macros for it, but I don't even bother with it most of the time, because slowing is 100% not needed in any of the content in the game. It's just not. Even without the crazy gear I have, you don't need it. You can do it on TLPs, you don't need slow. It's nice to have, but you don't need it. So I do things a little bit different. So my spells I have running right now. So Crag's Salve. This is a spell that was added in, I'm checking real quick on Alakazam, Kunark. So if you're in the Kunark era, you will have available this spell. I think you can buy it in the Dark Elf Outpost if you're evil, Fernovi if you are good. But this is a 688 point heal, pretty nice little heal to have at your ready. It's a little slow to cast. It's a 3.75. The alternative would be, what is it called? Super heal, I think. Yeah, super heal is the last heal we had. This one is a 3.5 second cast, but it only heals 600. So your mileage may vary. This one costs more mana, but with mana reduction items available, I mean, you can get the price down on that pretty good. I don't even know what my mana reduction item is, but something there is that. So let's go back to group. Next up, I do have a slow memmed, even though I don't typically bother with it. This is the level 38 slow. It's it's a pretty beefy slow. I mean, if you talk about slows and stuff like that, but I don't need it in the way I play. If you watch the series Hobbs and Friends, where this character exists with Hobbs over there, it just slow would be a waste of my time. The way I play, so it's there just in case I need it. Next up, I have 3 dots. I have Venom Bolt, Plague, and this one called Odium. These are all different dots you can get. So these are all available in original or Venom Bolt and Plague. And Odium is available in, what level is this one? 43. Is available in Lost Dungeons of Norath. So when you get to that point, you can pick up this one. If you don't have it, you don't have it. But 3 dots, they all stack together. And as you can see here, they do 345, 147, and 317 as their total. So if I hit my little dot macro right there, and I'll show that here in just a second after this one goes, and Venom Bolt, Plague, and Odium will land. Here we go. You can see how much damage we are doing. This is a pretty insane damage, if you ask me. At this level is what, like 700, 800, let's say 900 damage. Just spitball there. Might be just like 800 and something, but it's pretty good damage. You're definitely going to pull some aggro casting all 3 of these, and that's kind of what it is. But my macro right here to cast these is X target 19, pet attack, and then I have 55 pauses on each of them just to make sure there's enough time to get all of them out. 3, 4, and 5, which corresponds over here to 3, 4, and 5. Pretty simple. There, I guess this is a good point to mention how I do extended target. Because X target 19 probably doesn't make sense to most people. So I have an extended target window here. This is built into the game, obviously. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are all my group members in the same order as on all my characters, so that I don't have to think about it when I switch screens. But those are all the same. This is X target 7. This is X target 18. This is 19, and this is 20. X target 20 is always the group tank. So whoever is signed the group the shield and is the group tank, they will show up right here, and that's who will be there. 19 is whoever the group assists target is. My paladin, or not my paladin, my shadow knight is set as the assist. He's targeting combat dummy Kaza over there, and so it shows up here for all the characters in my group here. And so I know at all times when whatever he's targeting, if I hit this macro, it's going to target whatever he's assisting. So it just works out that way. So X target 19 is my assist target. Then I have Spirit of Puma. Spirit of Puma is a proc buff. It was added in, let's see here, I think it was Dragons and Norath. I just looked this one up. So yeah, this one doesn't come in until Dragons and Norath, from what I can tell. You buy it in Plain Knowledge. It puts a buff on the character you target, or the player, whatever it is. I have a macro right here, X target 20, which will target the tank, and cast 6. I do it twice just in case I fizzle. So there, it's a short duration buff. 1 minute later on, level 70 plus, we will get group versions of the spell, and then targeting doesn't matter anymore. It would probably benefit my Beast Lord and Bard more than would my Shadow Knight, but I'd rather have it on my Shadow Knight for now. And then I have Cannibalize. This is just our, takes our health, returns that back as mana. This is kind of a, just a simple spell. There's a, you can see here, it's like, eats my health pretty good, right? 97, like it's chunking it down decently. But with Mana Song from the Bard and regen, whenever I cast that, yeah, like if I put regen on, don't think I have it on right now, but with regen plus Spiritual Light from the Beast Lord here, my health regen gets pretty good, right? 55 or 34 health regen, and this takes what? Doesn't even say how much it takes, but you can see there we're just standing here. We've already regenerated back up, and next tick we're going to be pretty much full. So it's just a way to get mana back without having to meditate. And then finally, I have Chloroplast is my this is my swap button, or swap spell slot. I have Chloroplast there because I do cast that on my mages to make sure that I don't have to actually heal them for the most part. But that's the general layout spells I run. Now I have little macros I've made to cast other spells, like Spirit of Wolf through Spirit of the Belai right here. So I just cast that, like I push the button, memorizes the spell, waits a second or two, and then cast the spell, and then there we go. The timings aren't perfect yet because we're going to get spell haste in sooner or later. And then I'll have to redo them all. So I just kind of like went a little longer on some of these timers, but you can adjust it to your character, right? So it's just like a pause, Mem spell slot 8, spat, pause 70, cast it, and then goes back to my group spell set, which is the current spell set, right? And then I have another same thing for the pet. So, we die or something like that. We haven't died yet, but if say we die and I need to summon a pet, or the pet dies, you can see this pet is just like getting destroyed by this dummy over here, right? Stop that before it does die. It just summons it, and then whatnot. The timing's probably a little bit off. I haven't actually tested that one yet because I haven't lost the pet. But it will. The timings just need to be adjusted a little bit. This one here is Pet Haste. So level 50. Yeah, level 50 shamans get Pet Haste in the Velius expansion. So we're going to want to cast that as much as possible. So if I click that, it's going to memorize Spirit Quickening. I have it seeing a group thing just so I can kind of see, like, when I'm on my other characters, I can see what they're doing when I hit these buffs. And it just works out for me. It's kind of like a log, if you will. So I can be like, oh yeah, that's what he's doing. Why is he doing that? You know, when I push those buttons and I switch screens and whatnot. Or if I do it other ways. But that's that. That's pet haste. And then I have another one here for focus. So like, let's say the Beast Lord needs focus. I target the character. I click focus. It's not focus now, but it's pretty much the line. Focus existed before Harnessing Spirit. Harnessing Spirit was added in, used to be Lachlan, and focus was added, I think, in Velius. So they just kind of like went back and added it for lower level characters. This is a HP, strength, and dexterity buff. So it kind of takes those three buffs, Talisman of the Altoona or whatever, strength and dexterity, puts them all in one, so you're not wasting 3 buff slots for a single buff, right? So they have that there. We'll have more of these little single target things like that, buffs as we go along, but that's kind of what I do now. It's really not as much as I would probably need. Like later on, they combine a lot of the buffs, so we don't have to do that. So all right, that's the spells I currently have mem. That's some extra spells I memorize every so often. We have Hide Corpse NPC. This just hides corpses, and auto inventory is anything in my hand. Heal X target 20. So I have this macro set up. It's kind of janky. I only use this character for healing. Now, at this level, we don't have all the spells that we get later on, where we have group AoE heals and all this other stuff. This is 100% focused on healing whoever is marked as the tank. If you watch the series, you'll see that like when I need to heal the other characters, I just change whoever the tank is, so I don't have to think about it, don't have to make macros for everything, because eventually I will never have to target anybody to heal them unless they're, you know, getting aggroed, right? All my characters are twinked in Velia's raid gear, so they all have about 8,000 10,000 hit points, right? They're, you know, pretty crazy. How the hell does he have? He has 10,000 and he has 9,000. It's just crazy. But they all have a lot of hit points, right? They're, you know, well geared, so like I'm not pressed to heal people immediately. They can all off tank any of the mobs we're fighting currently without me having to like worry about it right away. So that, you know, it's just, it targets that whoever X target 20 is. In this case, it is Hobbs, right? So it's going to target Hobbs when I push 5, and then it'll start all the keys that are 5. So this is called multi-binding. If you look here in the options and the keys under, I think hotbar 6 is one. I have all the keys on that hotbar bound to 5. I have all the keys on the other bar. No, I only have that one bar. So they're only the keys on that bar are bound to 5. Later on, I'll probably rebind this whole bar too, so that it's also 5. And whenever I push 5, the Shaman heals, right? So if I push 5 right now, he's going to start healing X target 20. And if I just keep spamming it like that, he's just going to keep doing that. So that works that way. Now, I have Cannibalize here. I switch these around as I need it, right? So Cannibalize, there is a delay on the next Cannibalize sometimes, and sometimes there's not. So it's kind of janky in that sense, but I keep it like this most of the time, and then when I need mana, I just swap those around so that he will cannibalize. It's like you can't do in multi-binds, right? You can't do like macros because they break, and for me anyway, they break. These like single action ones work fine, but when you have like, you know, something complex like this, the second you push the button again, it cancels it and starts over. So it just doesn't work for me. So that's how I do it. I just spam heal whoever the target is until I don't need to push the button anymore, right? But with that, so I'll talk about the next line here in a second. I have a sit macro, just sits and stands. basic in-game stuff. Journeyman boots, everybody has a pair of those. Gave us at level 1, you know, faster run speed, but now at you know, level 50, the Shaman has group buffs now. And then I have a mount. This character has this weird looking dog thing. It's the mount he has, so you know, he's what he has. And then, you know, the mounts, let's see here, the mounts give you know, stats, right? 4,200 hit points, mana, endurance, 50 resist, 74 armor, some mana regen. So that, you know, it's definitely worth getting. You get those from completing achievements, or some of the expansions come with them too. All right, next row. So I use an MMO mouse, so numpad 1 is actually where my thumb is. So I hit any of these buttons, like say numpad 3, that'll cast my slow, right? And it slows the mob and stuff like that. And then, so that's my debuff right here. So just X target 19, whatever the assist target is, cast slow. Pretty simple, nothing too fancy there. Same here with numpad 4. This is my dots macro. Now, you'll see that this character has, you know, these dots that are kind of like, if you start spamming buttons, you're not going to be able to cast them. So I'm lucky in the sense that the way the Shadow Knight's set up is he has 4 and 5. The Beast Lord's 4 and 5. The Mages are 4 and 5. The Bard is 4 and 5, right? But the Shaman is not 4 and 5. The Shaman is just 5. So when I'm spamming 4 for the multi-bind for everybody else, Shaman's not doing anything at all. He's just sitting there, you know, playing with his PUD. But if I hit numpad 4 while they're all doing that, he's doing dots, and that puts out more damage for him, and it gets his pet in the action. But the second I'm like, oh crap, I need to heal, I can just start spamming 5. They continue doing what they were already doing, but he starts doing what he needs to do by healing Hobbs, right? Makes sense. Should work. That's how it goes. So just a little bit there. And then I have buff X target 20, which is the tank. Later on, there will be more spells here, right? Right now, it's just Spirit of the Puma. Later on, we get the Sloth line, which is a slow proc, which we'll put on the tank, and then I'll probably never cast slow again unless it's a named. Now, when you watch the Beast Lord video, the Beast Lord does have slow in her setup, and in Voxel's setup, my other Beast Lord. So there is, you know, some overlap there. I prefer to offload the slowing to the Beast Lord so that I don't have to, but it just depends on how you want to play and how you set it up. In some cases, when you're bringing mobs in, right, they're going to be coming in hot and hitting hard and heavy. And I'd rather have the Shaman focus on healing in that situation and let someone else slow it, right? The tank is going to slow from his belt. The tank is going to slow from the proc on the Sloth line. And then the Beast Lord will also have a chance to slow via the slow that they have. So there's some options there. It just means that this Shaman doesn't have to focus on it at that point in time. So there, just some buffs. The next line, this is my follow macro. So this is standard in-game follow. Everybody asks me, how do I get my characters to follow so well? The secret is Bard speed. In all honesty, Bard speed makes them work better. The follow also works better if you go here into advanced and you set the frames to unlimited and let it run as fast as it can in the background. Ideally, as long as you're running at 60 FPS on the background of your boxes, they will always stay with you. Now, they will do the stupid stuff where they like start doing this run around and circle stuff, but I just hit the button again and then move the main character, right? They're running like this, I just move back and then they follow and correct themselves. Later on, I'll be using Call Hero to move them around, so it doesn't really matter. But my follow macro is pretty simple. Stand up. So, like, you have to stand here. I'll just push it, right? He's going to stand up, He's going to start running around in circles and then eventually figure it out. X target 1, I don't use X target 20 because if, these might not be the same. They're in the same for this case, but X target 1 is the character I'm playing from. So it just makes sense that way. I turn off attack. I do /follow, which is that in-game follow, and then /invite, which kind of double dips, right? When you invite somebody and then they invite you back, you form a group. So it's just kind of my easy way of getting everybody grouped up and whatnot. So it just works. And then I have teleporters. I have 2 guild hall anchor teleporters that teleport me back here to my guild hall. North Road teleporter, campfire teleporter, plane of knowledge teleporter, and guild lobby teleporter via the Throne of Hero AA. So all available in the alternate achievements. And then here DZ macro. So this just gets everybody into a DZ quicker. Targets the agent to change, and then says all the magic words that he would want. And then here we have the multi-bind. Obviously, at this level, there's not much in it. It's just a heal. Later on, there'll be all kinds of AAs we're going to throw in there. It's going to be fancy. If you want to see where it ends up, watch the 120 Shaman video of my 120 Shaman, and you'll see, like, I think it's like 2 rows and a little bit more. It's crazy how much I have in there and how much healing output I can put out with the Shaman doing that. And then Lessons of Devout, which is 100% experience buff for 30 minutes that you can use every 20 hours. All right, that's everything there. Let's see, what is this? It's Charm. That's from when I copied the UI. Steadfast Servant and Staunch. I had to use those in a video because he was about to die. I think it was in like episode 2. Yeah, I think in episode 2 he was about to die, so I clicked one of those. These are all the buffs. Bind Wound, that was from a copy. Conch Pots, so this is from a copy, but it makes point. Shamans have the ability to make alchemy potions and elixir of greater concentration. Conch Pots, if you will, are mana regeneration pots that stack with clarity. Don't know if they stack with the Beast Lord buff. I've never tried them on live. I only do it on TLPs, but that's just how those work. But they're very good. You should always use a Conch Pot if you're playing on a TLP. Maybe on live if it stacks with all your buffs. I'm just not 100% sure on the stacking of that. And these are all the buff buttons we already showed. And then over here I have just a few illusion items for turning into different things, like the skeleton, which is my favorite form. I love that one. And then I have a group invite button, but this one is from Teak, where I copied the characters, the setup from, so that's not important right now. But that is all my spells, my hotbars, my extended target. Let's talk about gear. As a Shaman, you want HP regen, much as you can get. Like, so I'm wearing the Chestplate of Vindication, 2 HP regen. The Belt of Dwarf Slaying, another 2 HP regen. Now, you also want mana regen. So, like, I have the Brain of Khazak-Thul, the Eye of Khazak-Thul, 1 HP regen each. Let's see here. I don't know what else. Oh, yeah, the Earring has 3 mana regen. So, you want as much HP regen and mana regen as possible. HP regen kind of helps with your cannibalize, right? Because you cannibalize and then you need to regenerate that health back. Now, I'm lucky that I run a Bard because Bard Song does HP and mana regen, so we get that back. Now, all this stuff stacks with clarity, so if we had an enchanter in the group or an enchanter decide to buff us, we would get more mana regen that way. Clarity would be one of the #1 buffs a Shaman would want, but you don't need it because you're a Shaman and you can cannibalize. So it just depends on, some of that stuff there. For stats, HP is king for a Shaman, in my opinion, because of cannibalize. And with that, your heroic stat is going to be heroic stamina. for anything heroic, right? I don't think I have anything on me that has heroic stats. I think the Shadow Knight over here has a heroic stat item. There we go. So you can see here, like later on, eventually you'll find items that have these little gold +1 items. You're going to want heroic stamina as a shaman. So that is going to be what you pick. And those start showing up probably around like level 70, 75-ish. Maybe a little earlier if you have Defiant Armor. Where's the shaman? There he is. If we go here to like Bazaar, and then like type in Defiant. Let's sort by price because that'll make it a little easier. And then like chain legs, right? So you can see here the chain legs, they have heroic wisdom, heroic stamina. Obviously this is a fantastic piece at this level. You'd want at 59. It's good, it's got a nice balance. It does trade a balance across the 4 chain classes, so it's not as hard as like say let's see here, let's look at what's a high-end item called Gallant. Let's see, what is the high-level shaman called? Here, let's do sort by class. There we go. So if we look at the hat, right, this is the level 120, 125 hat that you can get. It has 28 heroic stamina, 32 heroic wisdom. So those are going to be your 2 best. Stamina is number 1, in my opinion, because of how Cannibalize works later on. It takes like half your health. So that's, you know, pretty crazy there. And the wisdom will give you more mana. But you're going to want HP and mana regen. Those are going to be very important. Right now, at this level, you can wear sword and shield, or a hammer and shield, I guess. Epic and shield at, you know, level 50. And then eventually you're probably going to want a 2-hander just because of the proc and how, you know, that's going to work. But you can use sword and shield, or, you know, sword and board, whatever you want to call it. Mason board, spear and board, I don't care. You can probably use that for most of the game. Shields provide a lot of extra armor class, which is nice if you're getting hit. Later on, let me see if I got one. Later on, like say at like level, where is it? Did I already put it in my shield here? This one will work right here. So later on, you'll get these type 7 augs that are shield only, that are, you know, all the major stats you want, and then lots of hit points and mana, and then HP and mana regen. That alone, you get more sustain using a shield by having one of these augs. You lose out on that when you switch to 2-hander, which I don't think any of these characters on this server are using 2-hander. Everybody's using sword and board here. If you look at like my 120 Shaman video or 125 Shaman video, she's wearing a 2-hander, and it just depends. It just depends on how you want to play, but I think it's really personal choice. Some tell me that sword and board is better. Some tell me that 2-hander is better. I have no idea. You get a proc damage on the 2-hander, and you get proc mana or proc damage on the 1-handers. Just depends on which one you get, but I prefer 2-hander because more damage is better. But yeah, that's gear. Yeah, wisdom is where we get mana, stamina is where we get health. So those are the most important. And I think that's everything for the Shaman. I can't think of anything else that I'm failing to mention. If there's any questions or comments, please leave them down below. But there we go. That is the level 50 Shaman. That's how I play the Shaman. It might not be the best, might not be the, you know, everything that you could imagine, but this is how I do it. And I play in a boxing environment. A lot of people play in a boxing environment on live. That's just how it is. On TOP, you literally do the exact same thing with a single character. You're just going to be buffing more. It's just, you're going to be buffing a lot more. Not going to have all the spells, but you'll have most of them, as I mentioned. But as you level up over the different things, it should work out. But thank you very much for watching, and please have a fantastic day.